Welcome to a world of thrills,
that's
a world of drama, of capes and tights, a world where death is a revolving door. Welcome to the Geek Matrix.
Howdy, howdy, howdy.
You son of a bitch. How dare you say that to me right before we go live and I can't burst out laughing. You bastard. So, is that the truth?
Yeah.
So, fruit pies be damned.
Fruit pies be damned.
Okay. Fuck
But
you. I'm pie master.
Oh,
You can have Holly's pie all you want. I'm
Pie.
going with my fruit meat pie.
pie aside. Welcome, everybody. It is
Yeah, man.
episode 205.
Here, that pie was strudel.
Mm. I like strudel.
Just like The Rock used to make. Yes. Now you caught on. There you go. So welcome to the Geek Matrix DC Comics Review Show, episode number 205. Joining me today, as always, is Josh and Brandon.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome.
Say our names and we'll
Brandon.
appear.
I did.
Hi, I'm Josh.
Josh and I have been having a debate since yesterday about how did it even start? Oh yeah, how
You asking
handle
that
a slice of pie?
you eat it on the plate
Yes.
or whatever container it is you're doing with a fork.
Yeah, but at a certain point,
If it's pizza,
I can pick it up and just eat it.
if it's pizza,
If it's pie,
I could drop
I
chocolate
do it with
pudding.
fruit pie all the time.
I could drop a glob of chocolate pudding
Yeah.
on the floor
Yeah.
and then scoop it up and eat it.
You could.
But it doesn't mean I should, Ron.
Well, no, it was on the floor. It gets everywhere. It's totally different, Josh. You know it.
The basis of it is just because you can doesn't mean you should.
No, it doesn't mean I should. No, but it doesn't mean I don't have to.
You
I don't
have
think
to.
there's any one way to
Going
eat a
to.
pie. I think
Thank
you can pick that chunk of pie up with your hand and
Yeah.
eat it, and
No,
you're fine.
Eat that shit like
Eat
a
it
cow.
and be
Graze
fine.
that motherfucker.
Yeah,
Don't even
exactly.
use a utensil or your hand. Just like with your mouth. That's it. That's it.
Fucking Arnold for a pie.
There you go. I go fucking Arnold for all arguments. Okay.
Iron it.
You think you come to me with the meat pie? Do you think you know what you're talking about? No, man. No, motherfucker. I am the pie master here. Yes.
But not strudel.
No, that's strictly for The Rock. All right, so all fun aside, I'm satisfied now that Josh has admitted he's not the dessert pie master. Thank you. Only eating like 2 types of pie.
No, I eat all kinds of pie. I just don't like. I don't like apple. I don't like pumpkin, and chocolate pie isn't my favorite. Like I'll eat it.
I can understand a distaste for chocolate,
It's like the last thing you eat at Thanksgiving.
and like I've met people that don't like pumpkin pie, and I question their existence. But apple?
Yeah.
It's like the pie to end all pies.
You're American. How do you not like apple?
I don't know if I was supposed to be born here, comrade.
I think
No, I'm just kidding. I don't like.
you're supposed to be.
You think there's what?
I think you're supposed to be Canadian. Both.
I
of
don't
you.
know. I do love poutines.
There you go. And Brandon is as friendly as they come.
I do like apple pie, though. I will confess that.
That's fine. We like our apple pie up here too, but pumpkin is superior. up here.
No,
I don't know about that.
I just
don't know
can't.
about that.
You've never
I
had
know,
my
look.
grandmother's pumpkin pie, then?
To me, every time if I had to stack the three up, because they're all pretty similar: pumpkin pie, pecan pie, and sweet potato pie. Out of those three, it goes pecan, sweet potato, pumpkin.
Yeah.
I can't really chime in because I don't really like nuts, so pecan pie is not my favorite. but-
Yeah, it's the same with me. Like, I don't know that I've ever actually tried pecan pie. I'm willing, but like if I have three pies in front of me, pecan is there. I'm not touching
Hey Rob, I think you're cutting out.
it. Nah, buddy, that's you. Because we can't hear you. You got quiet. Brandon, can you hear me?
Hello?
Can you hear Rob? Okay,
You are getting quieter.
Yeah,
who?
you.
Me?
Yeah, you're better now. You're fine now.
Okay.
But
Oh, that's getting really annoying. Okay.
Brandon, was I fine on your end?
I think you both were getting quieter. It was kind of weird.
Oh, that's weird.
All right. Well, seems to be resolved now. Anyway,
It's a glitch in the matrix.
Huh.
the geek matrix.
Yeah. What are we here for?
Comics.
That's right. Oh shit! How easily I forget. I need to like fix my phone because I have nothing but pictures of Shepherd's Pie on my phone right now. So
Get-
bear with me
get
while I
along
actually
here.
get prepared. This fucking debate was intense for me anyway. I don't know how intense it was for anybody else, but I take my pie seriously. Okay.
Oh, I do too, but I was
Pie is
dying
God.
laughing in bed
Oh,
next
God,
to Holly
yeah.
last night.
It
She's
was.
like, does he know what you're talking about? I said, no, I don't think so, but he's going to die when I tell him tomorrow.
Also, this literally, if we're getting into news first,
Of course.
just came across my desk.
Like literally.
We know who is taking over Amazing Spider-Man.
Jed McKay.
No,
Brian Michael Bendis.
no,
Please tell me it's Tom King.
no. You're
But
going
his
in the
name
wrong
does
direction.
start with 3 letters. His first
Yes.
name starts with 3 letters.
It is Joe Kelly
Oh,
taking over from Zeb Wells, and the artist, for 10 issues at least, will be Justina Ireland as well as Ed McGuinness and Gleb Melnikov for a story
Nice.
called "The 8 Deaths of Spider-Man."
Oh, good. It's a good thing Catwoman didn't just go through that.
Rob, did you see all the comments that were like, "We're still in brand new day"? They just gave the same 4 writers.
Yeah,
I'm waiting for what did you call him? I'm waiting for Uncle Guggy to come back.
Uncle
Yeah, I'm
Dougie,
surprised he
Jesus
hasn't done it
Christ.
yet.
Yeah.
Uncle Guggy.
Mark Waid I get because he's full time with DC now, but like I'm surprised Mark Guggenheim hasn't come back for another run on Spider-Man. Maybe they're waiting for that one.
Oh, it's coming. It's fucking coming. After Joe Kelly's 10 issues, going to be Uncle Dougie back on
Oh
Spider-Man.
god.
Guggenheim needs something to do now that they've taken away all of his TV shows.
Well, he did just write a comic called Torrent at Image, which actually was pretty good,
Oh,
all things considered. I mean, I didn't love the ending, but I remember reading it. I was like, oh, it's not bad. It was a little, well, I don't know. It felt a little derivative of Punisher, but for the most part, it was pretty entertaining.
Fair enough.
I can't remember
I
when that
imagine
came
it
out. It was like a couple months ago, I think.
Like, as a comic book writer, he's decent. Like,
Yeah,
he's got
not
some
the
enjoyable
worst.
stuff. But as a showrunner, my god, did he push Arrow into the fucking toilet.
yeah. Unfortunately, he did
Yeah.
definitely do that. The Arrowverse.
I'm not going to blame the entire Arrowverse on him because he wasn't showrunner on every show, but Arrow was definitely his fault.
He was showrunner on Flash too, wasn't he?
Maybe for like the first season, and that is usually the best season. Season 2 was up there as well. But I know
No.
very very soon after, I think somebody else took over as showrunner. Yeah.
I just blamed it all on him.
And Greg Berlanti is the real culprit for most of it.
I'll give you that, fucking Berlanti. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Ah,
But hey, at least we got Legends tomorrow. And that remained in, decent quality throughout its 8 seasons.
yeah, I'll say that didn't really change its formula too much.
No.
So
It did have, rising and declining quality up and down, but none of it, I would say, is,
as bad as the rest of
unwatchable.
it.
None of it is unwatchable. None of it is terrible. It's all good. Just some is better than others.
It's goofy hijinks, that's all.
Exactly. But we're not here to talk about shit in the past. We're here to talk about shit in the present. With that being said, y'all got any other news?
I'm trying to quit smoking, and they just made CBD all but illegal here. So I'm using the fake marijuana to supplement it, and it's some of the grossest shit I've ever done. I'm on day 3, and I'm not doing well with it.
I can imagine.
But that's my news. Oh,
Yeah, nothing to report on my end. At least nothing new.
any comic news, guys?
I picked up a book the other day, just on a whim, because I saw it at the bookstore. I thought, it's been a while since I read this. Maybe I'll give it another read through, because I really enjoyed it the first time around.
Oh, hey.
Brandon. Yeah, I know you'll like it. Yeah,
Right.
Vertigo.
Yeah, that's
I think this was the last Vertigo book, wasn't it?
that
The
and
second last.
well, yeah, it was like a wave of books, and then they all kind of petered out, and then that was the end of it. But there was that. There was Goddess Mode. There was American Carnage, the Brian Edward Hill book that was really good that no one ever talked about. It was like a white national. Well, that's gonna sound bad, but it was like a mystery into this secret white nationalist group. And anyway, it was a really good book. That was like the last wave of Vertigo books in 2018 or something.
Right on. Yeah, this is going to be a fun read again.
Yeah, no, I hope you enjoy it the second time around, or is this the third?
This will be the second.
Nice.
This is not Kidney Bean Heads. This is maybe Riley Rosmo's best.
Yeah. Well, it's like a lot of bizarre and exotic scenarios and
Yeah,
geography.
really out there stuff.
And it really works.
It does, yeah.
And also, it's just a really good story. I think that's kind of the highlight for me. It's just two very odd characters thrust into a weird sort of relationship, and it just works. I was having so much fun reading that book again because Antonio Luna he's such a terrible character.
Oh
in the
god,
best
yeah.
way. Really entertaining.
Yeah.
Oh man, it makes me want to reread it again because I think it's the second issue or the third issue where they go to the funeral of like one of his old lovers, and he's telling this like crazy story about how important she was to his story, and her whole family is there, and they're like, "You mean to tell me, my grandmother who did all these incredible things is just some random character or some side character in your story, some random guy who she fucked?" And I was like, "Oh, that's when I knew I was like, this is absolutely for me."
Yeah. That's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who's that?
It's Lex.
Yeah, it is. Wait, what the hell? Oh,
Lex got thrown at me off my shelf the day before yesterday, and I can't figure out how to get his arm back on.
So let me show you. That's been happening to my Parallax. So, oh, that's the wrong one. I have 2 Parallax. That's been happening to my Parallax since I took him out of the package.
That's horrible.
Yeah, it stays in for the most part. It's just the glue that kind of holds it in, or maybe it's a peg. It just gave way. Does it not stay in at all?
Nope.
That sucks.
Nope. Dude, I'm telling you, I mean, you know how far away it's like my shelf is over an arm length away from me, and I don't know how the hell it happened, but I was sitting here modding WWE 2K24 and not paying attention to shit, and then I got hit in the arm by Lex,
Great.
and then his arm broke off.
That sucks.
Fucking A.
Yeah.
You know, and right when he was trying to turn good too.
I mean, to be fair, he lost his memory first. So
Yeah, he doesn't even know who he is right now.
you know what?
Not after that kind of
Blame
an
this
impact.
guy.
It's his fault.
It's all
I
his
just did.
fault.
There, you feel better?
I do. Brandon, I feel awkward. You should show us some figures.
I would, but my room is actually, I feel like I'm not going to be judged here, but I was embarrassed because I was like, my room is just in such a horrible state right now because I'm moving in like a month, so I'm kind of in the process of like rearranging everything, and I realized that I hate myself because I have too many fucking comic books, and they're just and it's like it's such a pain to move around. So like, oh god,
That's why PKJ keeps all of his lawn boxes
It's like
in an
I don't even
upstairs
know if you
room
can see.
sitting on the floor.
Yeah.
It's like my floor right now. It's just
Eh,
books everywhere.
I guarantee
All
you
over
my
the
room
place.
is worse.
Yeah, my bed is in a worse state. So there you
Hey,
go.
I dig the haircut, homie.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think you got a nice haircut.
Yeah. So it's a little crazy right now. I would show off my figures, but actually, if you want to see what they look like right now, here you go. They look like they just went through a crisis. They're all like,
Oh,
they all
poor guys.
They all fell over, and I've got Nightwing on the floor right now.
Looks like Tomar Ray is the culprit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Isn't
And
he
then the other
always,
shelf
though?
where everyone fell over. All the Batman ink figures are just sprawled everywhere.
Oh, jeez.
It's kind of crazy.
Also, Brandon, I don't know how much of a Flash purist you are, but I definitely recommend this figure, a Wally West.
I've heard flack about that one, just because people were like, it's the same body as the other Flash, the Barry Allen Flash, and also the mask looks terrifying.
Well, yeah, but it's also based on fucking the one from, like the current one.
Yeah. I
God,
don't think
what's
it looks
the name of the
terrible.
artist? I
I
don't
don't
remember
know.
the name.
I mean, I have
Diodato?
Yeah, Mike Diodato. It's based on Diodato.
I have two versions of Wally, the one from the 90s and the one from the 2000s. So it would be nice to have the modern looking one, but
Yeah.
I'll be holding my breath for that one for a while.
Yeah, it could happen. You never know.
That
We're
one
getting
looks
Max Mercury
good.
soon, so
I'm looking forward to that. And I don't mind this one too much. The face is off for me a bit, but like you said, that's because of Diodato.
yeah.
But the one I've got Manhattan Wally. I guess that's the best way to put him. And I want the other one, but I'll be waiting for a little bit anyway.
I wish they could do a new version of the 90s suit with the white eyes, but I don't know. Maybe they want to hold off on that one. It's a shame. It would go so well with the Impulse and the Max Mercury.
Pop quiz for all you trivia buffs. What do these two characters have in common?
They're both made by McFarlane.
Characters, not figures.
They both have alliterative names.
I mean,
Wally West,
that's
Lex
one
Luthor.
thing. but that's not what I'm going for.
Okay.
I feel like Brandon might have the upper hand on this one because I think he does know the answer, but he's not thinking of it.
I'm not thinking of it because I'm confused. I also have my glasses off right now, so I couldn't see.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, Wally and Lex. What do they have in common?
Yes.
Huh.
They're both in DC Comics.
Yeah.
They both
uh,
appeared in Superman.
Man, I don't know.
They did.
I feel like
They
they
both villains.
some kind of hint.
They both killed heroes.
You want a hint?
Yeah.
Think TV.
Oh. Oh yeah. Yeah. Damn. I should have got that faster. I wasn't thinking in that area. I was thinking comics.
Yeah. You gonna give the answer?
Oh,
Should I say it? Well, I wanted to give Josh time to guess, but if
Oh,
not,
okay, yeah.
The dude from Smallville did the voice for Wally, right?
Yes, they're
Yeah.
both played by Michael Rosenbaum.
Michael Rosenbaum,
Yes.
best Flash.
And for one brief episode, technically Michael Rosenbaum played the Lex Luthor on Justice League. Technically.
Technically,
Even
but it
though
was
it was still...
Lex in the body of Wally.
Yes.
I always forget he was Lex in Smallville. Maybe because I haven't really watched that show.
It was a good show.
Mm.
Had its ups and downs, but it was good.
Yeah.
Indeed, it did.
All right, I guess that's enough show and tell
For now, it is.
for now.
I guess I'll tell a little bit about the honorable mentions before we jump into the rest of the books.
By all means, not like there's many.
All right. Well, we got Neil Before Zod number 7. I haven't read this one yet. Rob, what do you think about it? If you have,
I have read it. Heavily involved several members in play of Ekron, including a surprise appearance by what I can only assume is Ekron. They never named him, but the eye went into the socket, so I can only assume it's Ekron, and I forgot to look it up. But no, it was solid. I'll be honest, like when it comes to this and Sinister Sons, it's not top tier. It's not amazing. It's not going to be Book of the Year or anything like that, but they are enjoyable. And if you, like me, are craving cosmic stories, then this is going to be good because it looks like they're heading towards a crossover. 8 out of 10.
very well. All right. Well, the following ones, The Boy Wonder number 3. Jesus, this was good. All 3 of them. I can't tell you enough, guys. It is definitely different, but it is really good. I gave number 3 an 8.75 out of 10, and if I was going to grade the whole mini, I would give it the exact same score, 8.75 out of 10. Next up, we got My Adventures with Superman number 2. Now I'm on issue number 2. It's a bit more entertaining than I thought it would be. If you like the cartoon, you will probably like this too. I did. 7.75 out of 10. Batman and Scooby-Doo Mysteries number 7. I haven't read this one yet either, but the series has been fun so far. And then finally, Batman and Robin and Howard Summer Breakdown. I haven't read this one yet either, but my kid did, and they gave it a 4 out of 5, no matter how many times I tell them it's out of 10.
Well, you can just double it. I mean, then you have 8 out of 10. So
There you go. 8 out of 10. There we go. It is settled. And we will take this time to mark a quick commercial break for our later listeners. And okay, we're back.
Yay! Welcome back. All right, so
let's see here. We're back, so we get. Let's I guess just go ahead and jump right into the books, huh?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Shazam number 13, written by Josie Campbell. No, I know I had this done right once. There we go. Written by Joseph Campbell, art by Mike Norton, with colors from Trish Mulvihill, Troy Pateri on letters, and a cover from Gleb Melnikov, Rob's favorite artist, name to say. Where in the world is Billy Batson? That's a good question, and it's the name of the arc. Freddie, Tawny, Mary, and Hoppy are all in the Shaz van looking for Billy. Thankfully, Hoppy can track the Rock of Eternity and its locations, and they do so, finding Billy in an abandoned subway tunnel. Billy is having some, let's say, screw you, Captain moments at a bad time because the subway is being overrun with monsters. So it's a good thing that Mary is there. The monsters, calling themselves the Submen, seem to be able to take a whole lot of damage from electricity as Mary's lightning attack barely phases them inside and out of the train while Freddy tries to stop it. Mary gets grabbed by the neck, but then she's saved by Billy and Uncle Marvel, a.k.a. Dudley from the new champion of Shazam. Billy asks where Freddy is, and we find out he's still stuck in the subway train. Mary accidentally left him there, careening out of control when a graffiti artist steps in front and makes some kind of portal that takes Freddy to the home of the Submen and in front of their leader, King Cole. That is the entire issue, man. This feels so much like a Shazam story that I want to read. Yeah, I don't want to gloss over the art. I really enjoyed Norton here. His style is great for this book. And of course, I mean, Trish Mulvihill just never messes up. The story is fun to read. It's engaging. It's easy to get down. There's no what the fuck moments. I am curious if the girl with the spray paint is Primer. I'm really curious. It would be neat to see her show up in main continuity. It is a really good character. And where this is all going to go up, how the Shazam fam will look when it's all over, and what in the hell is Dudley there to do? Apparently all these questions and more will be answered next month, so count me in. I'm giving Shazam 13 and 8.25 out of 10.
I thought you were gonna say you were giving it a 13. Huh. That's coincidence. It's funny. It's also issue 13. You're giving it a 13. And then I realized we score out of 10.
Yeah, tell that to my kids.
Right, so this issue is feeling like it's bringing us back to a status quo. The Rock of Eternity is now safe within the subway system and no longer floating in the sky somewhere in random places or in Billy's closets. It's backwards started way back when. And Uncle Marv is back, which is cool. We have Tawny again. It feels like they're bringing us back to like a classic Shazam. And it definitely feels like Freddy's going to get his powers back too. And it feels like Pedro, Eugene, and Darla will not. You know?
You don't think so? You don't think we're getting back? So you think we're going back to the OG Captain Mary Marvel and Captain Marvel Jr.?
Yes.
Yeah.
Fuck all
instead
the
of calling him Captain Marvel Jr., they're just going to call him
Lieutenant.
Captain Jr.
Oh God, that's awful.
Yeah. Unless they might.
The Lieutenant?
That's worse.
Captain Jr. The Lieutenant.
The Sergeant.
The
It's got to be.
man.
It's got to, oh God.
Why not just Junior? They can be tongue in cheek with it.
Yeah. Come on, Jr. Yeah. I mean, I'm only getting that vibe because Freddy is clearly so into the idea of having superpowers for obvious, understandable reasons. And Pedro, Darla, and Eugene don't seem as interested as Freddy. Like, I'm sure they are not against the idea of having superpowers, but they don't seem as wanting as Freddy does, right? Like, they're okay to live without them.
Counterpoint.
Yeah.
That ain't how the Shazam magic should be working. If the way that you're explaining it, I would assume that it would make more sense for Darla, Eugene, them to get the powers and Freddy not to because he wants them so much. I could be totally wrong.
But
but
how? Is that like a magic thing I'm not aware of?
well, I mean, it's the whole Rock of Eternity. You get the powers because you're ultimately pure of heart kind of thing.
I mean, for the original champion, yes, but isn't Billy the one who chooses how to share them, or who to share them with? He's just having,
You know, I mean, typically,
issues.
yeah, that is how it works. There's so much up in the air right now with what's going to happen with the Shazam Elite. Oh God, I
Yeah.
just said it. The Shazam fam.
Shazam is so much easier. It's a nicer
Doesn't mean
word.
it's any good.
It's a good word. It's an excellent word.
If you say so. But I mean, I really feel like everything is kind of up in the air. But the idea of getting back to the original trio, if you will, that's pretty fucking appealing to me. I'm digging that.
Yeah. Not to
Yeah.
say that I don't think Pedro, Freddy, and Eugene don't have a place in the book. I'm not saying that at all. I definitely want them to be continuing characters. Just it feels like this book is bringing us back to like a Silver Age status quo for the Shazam League, if you will.
I'd be
least
okay with that if it was done right.
How it seems so far. You know, with the placement of the Rock of Eternity, Tawny Tiger's around. They got Uncle Marv back. Like it definitely feels that way. Like pieces are being placed in a very specific way that definitely feels that way. This issue though was very fun, very simple. It was a very magical adventure, and that's exactly what I expect out of a Shazam book. Art backing it up was excellent. It's getting an 8.5 out of 10.
Fair enough.
Well, I did not get a chance to read this one,
Oh, man.
but it sounds like there are things that I would enjoy, so I'm looking forward to getting a chance to check it out.
I think
Well,
so.
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong there, Brandon. I think that this Shazam book is going to be right up your alley.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know what I really feel like? I really feel like okay, this is going to sound silly, but I feel like Josie Campbell is writing Shazam like Jeff Johns would if he had 6 months to sit down and pace it all out and just write Shazam. It feels that kind of classic-ish Shazam. Now, the kind of story that I think that if Jeff Johns tried to take us back to classic Shazam, that this is what it would feel like. And
Classic Shazam, not modern Shazam.
well,
Nice.
Yeah.
Because if it was modern Shazam written by Jeff Johns,
it would be
Uncle
totally
Dudley
different.
probably would have been like an axe-wielding murderer. And
Yeah, I forgot you weren't too big of a fan of what he did.
not the reboot, anyway. I can't
Right.
speak for the 2019 book.
Oh, really? You got to go read it, dude.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
2019 one was actually pretty decent.
It was really good.
Yeah, I
And to
think
be
that was
honest with you, when I
point.
think of Jeff Johns writing Shazam, that's what I think of.
I can't remember if that was 2018 or 2019, but I think that was around the time I kind of wasn't really reading DC because of all the Marvel stuff at the time.
Fair enough.
Poor choices, but hey, you know, we all make mistakes.
It was House of X. There was
Oh.
nothing better than that.
Yeah.
House of X, Powers of. It was House of X and Powers of
Powers of
10,
10.
right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I never read that right until y'all started talking about that shit in
Oh
chat.
man, that was what a time that was. Nathan and I can swap stories. It was like it's like nothing else I've seen, just in terms of how it set the internet ablaze.
Yeah. Jonathan Hickman has that ability.
Yeah, yeah.
Indeed.
That was, I think, just uniquely special because it was like the X-Men were at their, well, I mean, I don't know if it's their lowest point considering their long history, but definitely one of their low points, and the book just revitalized people's interest like nothing else.
Yeah.
Simpler times.
Simpler times.
Now imagine if he took on a DC book.
There were rumors of that for a long time, and they never came to pass. And he pretty much confirmed them. He was like, I've said it a couple times, but I forget who reached out to him. Someone from DC called him up, and they were like, "Hey, we want you to, come over and write some stuff." And then Bendis left. There was a huge vacuum. Dan Buckley called, and he was like, "We need you back." So he pitched a couple of books, and here we are,
Yeah.
5 years later.
Still nothing.
Yeah.
Right. So what ultimately our listeners have learned from that is we could have had Hickman, but instead we got Bendis.
Well, Bendis left Marvel, and they freaked. They were like, "No," because I mean, despite what people may think, he was a very popular writer, and still consistently was a seller. So that alone was enough for them to be like, "Oh shit! If we don't have one of our biggest names, what are we gonna do?"
Yeah.
I mean, that's a fair enough concern. I
I still remember the day I found out the news that Bendis was going to DC exclusive.
Hmm.
That was a fucking
Pretty
day.
crazy, yeah.
It was a crazy day.
There's all this
and
speculation.
you were
like,
excited, right?
what was he gonna?
No, I actually wasn't.
Well, everyone was like cautiously optimistic at the time because there was speculation
Yeah.
as to what he was going to write, and so a lot of people were jockeying for. I remember the top ones were Detective and Green Arrow, which did kind of end up happening in a way.
Yeah.
But yeah, ultimately we ended up with what we got.
Yeah. And let me tell you, as far as I'm concerned, there was no justice in that.
One thing I took from that is we live in a society.
With no justice if we got Bendis instead of Hickman.
Yeah.
Ugh,
And it all took place in America.
it sure did.
Yeah. If that wasn't a clue, it's Justice Society of America number 10. This is brought to us coincidentally by Jeff Johns. I thought we were going into that when we started talking about Jeff Johns, but then we just went on a tangent.
Oh, no, I just thinking about Shazam, man.
Yeah, fair enough. With art from Mikel Yanin and Marco Santucci, Jordi Belair, Ivan Placencia, and John Calise on colors, with letters from Rob Lee, and the pretty cool cover you see in front of you, also from Mikel Yanin. Very Brady Bunch style cover, I must say.
It's very, very cool.
It is. I like it.
It's super wicked. I really like it. Definitely not his normal style, but
No.
man, he can work it.
Oh God, can he ever? All right, so we start off in
Hey, the great
future.
Jackson, thanks for giving us a follow, man. We appreciate it.
Oh yeah. All right, so we start off in the future with the Legion of Substitute Heroes. Yeah, with the amazing Animal Lad in a conveniently Superman-themed costume for some reason. Fire Lad, Rainbow Girl, Stone Boy, and Chlorophyll Kid, each with their own downsides to their own powers. I think we've seen these characters already in this run.
We have
Okay,
only
so-
briefly.
So
but
I won't go into them completely.
yeah.
But they definitely have some issues.
I
they're-
mean, the long-standing team, the Legion of Substitute Superheroes.
Greatest team ever.
like Stone Boy is literally immobilized.
Yeah.
How great is he?
It actually is pretty great. If you read Superman and the Legion of Superheroes, the arc where they kind of make their return in Action Comics.
Yeah.
Stone Boy has like one moment, and it's literally just crashing through the windshield of their car or whatever, and smacking the shit out of one of the. There's the villain the main villain that they're fighting in that one is a guy called Earthman, and his warped version of the Justice League, and he ends up smashing through the windshield and crashing into, I can't remember which villain it was, but that was like his grand moment. And it was awesome, and you're like, hell yeah, Stone Boy.
That's awesome. If I remember right, that was also by Jeff Johns too.
Yeah, Jeff Johns
Yeah.
and Gary Frank in
Right.
one of the best Superman runs of all time.
I gotta check.
They
that
just
one
put out an Absolute edition for. I was
Ooh.
shocked to see that.
Perfect. I should pick that up. I've dove into a bit of Jeff Johns Action Comics, and it was really good. So,
It's still one of my favorites, but anyway.
I'm just gonna come out and say it. 2000s Jeff Johns was peak Jeff Johns.
I don't think you'll find any argument there.
Yeah. A lot of great stuff out of that decade.
Yeah. And that's a wide range. You could go from 2000 to 2009, and it would still be an incredible body of work.
Exactly. Between JSA twice, Teen Titans,
Flash,
Super
Green Lantern,
Flash,
Action
Green
Comics,
Lantern,
Infinite Crisis, Booster Golds.
Booster Gold. Oh my God! I don't think there was a
really
bad issue
Vega.
in his bone
Yeah.
during that decade. But that's the past.
Although,
right?
I have to kind of call you on your bullshit, Robert, because
bullshit. Okay,
you, sir, said that you were not a fan of Hal Jordan and that you actually preferred Tomasi's Green Lantern Corps to Jeff Johns' Green Lantern.
Oh yeah, I do.
I say, what the fuck?
I do prefer Tomasi's GLC more than Jeff Johns' Green Lantern, but that does not mean I did not enjoy Jeff Johns' Green Lantern. It just means I have a preference.
I see. But you didn't like Hal Jordan, yet you read that run.
So I will say my distaste for Hal Jordan is more in the past 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Because my love and exploration of Green Lantern really started with Green Lantern Rebirth.
Right.
So when Jeff Johns took on, I just went running with him. And then I was just absorbing all the Green Lantern I could get.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But now that it's years past, I've had time to digest it and reread it a few times. And I can look at it more objectively. And I've seen many different lanterns over the cosmos. Hal Jordan, as far as Earth Lanterns go, is one of the worst.
Oh my God. Rob the wise Green Lantern fan.
I would get blasted by my
now in his
fandom.
older years has decided that Hal Jordan really ain't all that.
He's not all that.
Did you say he's the worst Earth Lantern?
Yeah, I said that. Get at me.
Kyle, Guy, John, Hal, Jess, Joe, Simon.
Get at me.
And Hal's the worst one?
Yes.
He's
I can give you receipts.
I am, as far as I'm, hold on. It's not about the acts that they do in the book. For me, for an enjoyable character, it's whether or not they're enjoyable.
Okay, well, I'm going
Like
based on the acts.
when they show up in a book, are they a good time to read? And then score them like that. That's the way that I do. It's not like, well, Azrael is the least among the people who have jumped into the bat suit because he's killed the most people wearing it.
Yeah, I'm talking like in universe. Where you and I are looking at superheroes the opposite way we look at wrestlers.
Say what?
You go heavy into kayfabe, where I'm just like, I'm looking at the actor. Whereas right now I'm looking at the character in kayfabe, quote unquote, in comics, and you're just like, well, no, how enjoyable is he to read?
Yeah, how is
My
enjoyable
thing
is
is,
he to read?
all
I'm the
all
exact
character
same thing.
traits-
Like, is the character enjoyable in wrestling?
Yeah, all the character traits that you hate about Hal Jordan is what I love about Hal Jordan. So everything that you're saying you don't like is what I like, and that's not even me being a contrarian. That's just
That's
why
fair.
I fell in love with the character.
That's fair. Just for me, when it comes to the other 6 lanterns, okay, I will go in reverse order. Joe successfully defended an entire planet as her first mission, fed off a war that broke apart 4 alien races living in the same planet that was a powder keg, and did it all while learning this species, this whole civilization from scratch. And it was also her very first mission and first time wearing the ring. as a rookie, and she did it perfectly.
Right. She's a badass Green Lantern.
Boring.
She's a badass Green Lantern.
Boring.
Boring.
Hey,
Boring.
I'm
Far
kidding.
Sector
I like
was
Joe, but I
not
also
a boring
I don't
book.
know. I like characters that are a little
How
reckless and crazy.
dare
I
you,
guess
sir.
I'm with Josh on this one. Like actions, yes, they can be foul, and Lord knows Hal has a litany of bad actions, but
Oh, good God.
I don't know. It's kind of fun watching the reckless flyboy get into his shenanigans. That was what made the Green Lantern so entertaining for me, at least at the time, was seeing Morrison lean into his kind
Oh,
of
yeah.
space tomcat sensibilities and just
Yeah,
getting into shenanigans across the galaxy.
I completely get that. I would 100%
So
agree
who's
that
the
it could
worst
be fun,
Flash?
but it doesn't mean he's a good Green Lantern because of that.
Well, I would have to disagree, but you know,
Who's the worst
he
Flash?
does not have any excess abilities. Simon can bring people back from the dead.
does having excess abilities make one an exceptional Green Lantern? Does that
It
make
means that
Kilowog not an
can
exceptional Green
they can
Lantern?
bring out more in the ring. Kilowog has a
That
status
just
as the
means they're a
core
show off.
trainer. Kilowog has a status already. Kilowog doesn't. He's already better than Hal.
Hold on.
Care
But
what
he
you
doesn't
say.
have any flashy techniques. That's like, okay, I'm gonna give you a music.
But he has the
analogy.
status. He trains
No flashy
every
tech.
single
For me,
lantern in the
I'm
core.
gonna put it in a music analogy. For me, a more impressive musician is not someone who's super showy and has a bunch of tricks, but someone who plays exactly what is required for the song impeccably and does it with flair and finesse. And Hal Jordan is exactly that.
Yeah,
Although
fitting in and
without
adding
as much
to,
finesse.
not solo.
Yeah.
But my question, Rob,
The
is
worst Flash.
who's the worst Flash?
I
Who's the
can't
best Flash?
say there is one, but
Who's
I
the
mean,
best Flash?
Probably
Who's your
Bart
favorite Flash?
Allen.
Barry.
If
Your
we're
favorite
talking
is Barry?
people who have worn
Oh.
the mantle of the Flash, it would probably be Bart Allen. But
I mean, okay, yeah, I could say that. Bart, yeah.
that's
Pretty much
more a
the
product
worst.
of DC publishing. It wasn't really. He didn't really have time to grow.
Right.
Yeah.
So, which Flash has done the worst acts?
Barry.
Because Barry, how many people has Barry slaughtered?
He did kill Professor Zoom.
Professor,
Yeah.
he killed a
Like
bad
a couple
guy.
times.
One
Yeah.
bad guy
Well, just the once,
wiped
but-
out a whole shit ton of heroes.
And we didn't do it on purpose.
Yeah. Well, I mean, kinda.
Kind of, yeah.
That was the whole trial of Barry Allen thing, where they were trying to prove whether or not Barry had the intent to kill, and he kind of admitted. He was like, "Yeah, I was trying to snap his neck. Sorry."
Yeah. Yeah.
Oops. Not really. Oops. Like I did want to kill him because he was trying to kill my fiance.
Yeah. And
Oh, sorry about that.
Wally just had like secondhand death.
Secondhand death. There's no such thing as safe
Anyway.
secondhand death.
I know at this point he's been absolved of guilt, but it probably would be Barry just because of his association with the Flashpoint, which, regardless of if it actually changed the timeline or not, was just an incredibly selfish thing to do.
Yeah. Plus, even though he is a mentor to like every Flash that came after him, he's also quite the arrogant sod as a teacher.
Well, with sidekicks that were not Wally, yes. With Wally, it's like, yeah, it's fine. Barry was my hero, and we had a great time together, and we'd get ice creams after we, defeated Captain Cold or whatever. But with everyone else, it's like, oh yeah, you're my sidekick. What's your name again?
Yeah.
Step in line, Ashley, or aim me out, whatever. You in the
And
program.
it's not even just Wally.
Yeah.
Barry came back and, had this whole Flash family in front of him. He was just ignoring Bart the whole time, who was Kid Flash at that time and totally needed a mentor since Wally was doing other things. And Barry was just like, lose my number.
All right. I ain't got
Yeah.
time for this shit. Like, here's $5 at the arcade.
Yeah.
Well, and then they were trying to do that bullshit thing where he's like, it's just, Bart, your presence intimidates me because you're from the future and it makes me uncomfortable. And I'm like, That is such a load. You've been to the future so many times. This should not be uncomfortable for you. You just didn't want to have to deal with that
Ever.
because you were depressed, which is valid, but still.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah,
Indeed.
worst Flash, probably Barry Allen.
Yeah. Just like worst Green Lantern, Hal Jordan.
False. Incorrect.
Who decimated the core?
That was a disease. That was a disease by Parallax.
He's got a point. If
He
you're gonna say that
fear
Wally
in.
Which is such a BS Well, I mean, not BS.
Dude,
I mean,
It's kind of a nonsense.
in retrospect, it kind of is, but like,
you can't use that against Hal and
Yeah.
for Wally.
but even let's assume that they didn't retcon that. I think Hal kind of absolved himself later on. He brought the sun back. He helped fight fucking what was his name from Day of Judgment. I can't remember. I've read that book like 2 times. I'm ashamed. But he had his moments where he tried to redeem himself.
Yeah.
So,
He
you
tried.
can forgive.
So,
You can forgive his
Certainly
Parallax
tried.
characters.
He made Kilowog a skeleton.
Well, maybe he had it coming. Maybe he should have just gotten the fuck out the
Who the
way.
Kilowog?
Maybe
Had
he should have
that
just gotten
coming?
the hell out of the way.
Oh.
Look, when Hal Jordan says he's going to Oa and nothing's getting in his way, you get the fuck out of the way. It's like a Mack
That's
truck.
like, I
John led
wonder
the
what's
core
going
multiple
on
times.
Kurgar right
Yeah. Sorry, what did you say, Rob?
now.
John led the core more than once to success.
Okay, that is fair. I will
Yes.
give you that.
Kyle, being the torchbearer, was the sole Green Lantern in the universe for many years and was successul
For the most part.
for
Kyle,
the most part.
For the most part.
Jess,
Yeah.
Hal, Joe.
If we're talking accomplishment, it's definitely Kyle at the top. I don't think anyone.
Yeah.
And I'm not
Kyle
even
at
just
the top.
talking White Lantern stuff. Like, I mean, he brought back the Guardians. He was the first person to successfully wield Ion. Honestly, his ability to control a lantern while being a complete novice and kind of getting it under control very fast should be
Yeah.
commended as well too. So,
Exactly.
in terms of accomplishment, yeah, it's probably Kyle.
Yeah.
But then it's Hal.
No, because Jess
Fuck you.
was able to overcome fear.
I don't care about that.
You
That's
can't-
an
you
amazing
can't argue
It's a
against
bare
that.
minimum for being a Green Lantern.
Exactly. That's what makes it so important.
Exactly.
Please. I'm not going to
It's-
give you brownie points for doing
But the
most
difference
essential thing.
is she was nothing but fear. Hi, Holly. And she had nothing but fear in her life. She was ruled by a phobia. She was forced into this life, and she was able to overcome it. And if you read Green Lanterns to completion, you would see over those 50 odd issues, 57, 58 maybe, you saw her progression from
Perhaps.
just
Completely.
just like a simple lantern that could really only fly and go into space to being able to form complex constructs.
All I
and-
remember
and
is
face down
just
giant
being-
aliens.
I remember
and
being
go in
able-
space and
going
not
from
suffocate.
not beaten out of her by Guy Gardner. Although I do remember her manifesting construct after that.
That was fucking awesome.
She went from being debilitated by fear
Yes.
to being to having conquered fear so hard she could wear the yellow lantern ring.
Exactly.
Wow, that's really cool. But Hal Jordan was fearless, so
Was he?
Hold
though?
on. Yes. For the most part, yes. Hal Jordan is fearless, but that was an innate trait. He didn't have to develop that. He got that from his daredevil maverick, I'm ready to die attitude.
which is cool. I don't
which
care about
makes
scared
him
cat, Jess.
easily the second best lantern.
Oh, I can't wait to actually, you guys.
Actually, please do. It's been a while.
Okay. Excuse me. Hang on. Okay.
We have been talking for almost 20 minutes and we haven't even gotten to JSA yet.
I'll just be a few more. Actually, to as far as the current status quo goes, to be a Green Lantern and not face a yellow weakness, you have to learn how to feel fear and use that as a lantern. So if he is able to overcome this yellow weakness, parallax or not, he needs to feel fear. He cannot be
little
fearless.
Okay, yeah, not completely fearless.
And
yes.
he was never fearless. He was afraid of flying. He just overcame that fear.
I say fearless now in the sense that, for the most part, there is very little that it would take to shake Hal Jordan.
Very little, yes. But that does not mean he's the best Earth Green Lantern.
No, he's the second best.
No, he's the seventh best.
No,
he's not.
Second best.
Hold the fuck on. Look,
You
I
can
don't think.
maybe argue to me that
And,
Guy Gardner
if
is
we're gonna
7 and
bring
Hal
up
is 6.
receipts,
But
why don't we
that's it.
bring up some of the other Lanterns failures? Or should I
Simon
bring up
Baz.
the planet
You say
Xanshi?
Xanshi, I swear to God.
Should I bring up the planet Xanshi? Which, yes, I know, as many people have
John
commented, was
atoned for that.
a very out of character moment for John. And I think
Yes.
Starlin said it was actually supposed to be Guy Gardner originally, which is why
Yes.
he's acting incredibly brash and, impulsive. But that's still on John's record, so I'm counting it. And he let his wife die. I'd like to see Hal suffer the same fate. Oh wait, no, he hasn't.
let
Because
his
none of
whole
exes
bloody
have
city die.
died.
Well, he didn't.
That's more Superman's fault. If Superman had kept Mongol in check, maybe that shit wouldn't have happened.
Blame
Well,
blame
that's
the
a little
other guy. That's the sign of a great hero, is blame your comrade who failed. Okay.
Well, the sign of a great hero is being able to trust in your comrades, and clearly he was mistaken for putting his trust in Superman.
Superman had just come back to life, did he not?
Yeah, and he's Superman. He should have had that shit handled.
And he's the greatest Green Lantern. He should have had that shit
in
handled
the
too.
name.
Second greatest Green Lantern.
No, 7th greatest Green Lantern.
No,
Nope.
Second greatest Green Lantern.
Second.
And you know what? If we're gonna be facetious and shit, 8th, because Kilowog was on Earth too.
Oh my God.
Well, we're forgetting. I was gonna say 8th, but because we're forgetting Alan Scott. But
Yeah, but he wasn't in the core.
no, he wasn't in the core.
He's
But
But
also
Jade
Kilowog
was.
is not
Jade
from Earth.
was. So 9th.
Yes. I always forget
Kilowog
that.
isn't
It was
from
such
Earth.
a brief tenure
Yeah.
of her as a Green Lantern. Because she had Kyle's ring, isn't that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a duplicate though.
Yeah. Or yeah, the duplicate.
Yeah. And if I'm counting Kilowog, I may as well count Katma and Tomare and
Dude,
Rizia,
You just count the
Count
rest of
them.
the core at that point.
Salak.
But
I mean, they were all on Earth for an extended period of time as the new Guardians.
you just love to keep that pot stirring, don't you?
It's what I do best. Disturbing
The-
shit is my favorite pastime.
Due to no fault of his own, due to just honestly, he should have never been invented. But
Hal?
no, Simon.
Oh,
However,
for shame.
that's because he just hasn't had any good stories written for him. He was brought in and then basically said, fuck you, unless we need a lantern in the background.
Yeah.
You can't put him above Hal Jordan. That's just absolutely silly.
Totally can.
I mean, you can. It just
Yeah.
there's no factual
not.
basis for your argument.
He faced down the Third Army and survived.
Okay.
He was able to bring out a latent power that he was told was impossible from the ring, that Badge was witness to, and was able to bring his brother-in-law out of a coma using Emerald, I forget the second name, but it was Emerald something. Much like Jess had Emerald Sight. It's a sign of a powerful Green Lantern,
That never got brought up again.
and I wish it had. But like you said, and I agree, Simon was kind of given the shaft.
Oh, for not even kind of. But
He was
Still?
definitely given the shaft.
not as good as Hal.
I respectfully disagree.
I disrespectfully disagree.
All right.
You know
Well,
what? Hal can't sling a ring to Hal and Scott. How about that?
that'll
Can you say that again?
You can't sling a ring to Alan Scott.
Why does that
I'll
sound
have to come
dirty?
back to you on that one.
I'm just trying to transition us back to JSA.
Let's get her.
Okay, so the JSA are in the midst of going after Jim Craddock, the Gentleman Ghost. And at this point, thanks to the Huntress's future, they have Icicle Jr., the Harlequin's son, Ruby Sokov, the current Red Lantern, quote unquote Red Lantern, and Solomon Grundy on the team as well. And Gentleman Ghost, Jim Craddock, is the next potential recruit. However, he has used his magic to summon a horde of zombie Vikings, it seems to be, as well as have some giant fiery orb. Icicle gets a bit brash and decides to shoot some ice directly at the orb. That orb breaks and actually unleashes Surtur, the fire god that brings about Ragnarok. Good fucking job, Icicle.
The villain that sucked the JSA out of time for quite a while.
Yeah. So it's going to be a hell of a fucking fight. However, newest recruit, the Legionnaire, aka Mordru, the young Mordru, if you will. This is the Iron Lad of Mordru.
I was thinking the same
if you
thing.
will. He comes flying in with a plan to stop Gentleman Ghost and everything in front of them right away. He goes straight to Hawkman, absorbs his life force, essentially killing him, and then shooting it at Gentleman Ghost, which brings Jim Craddock back to life and makes him corporeal, which takes away his magical ability against deathly forces, which eliminates the zombie horde and takes away Surtur and reverts him back into a fiery orb, because without that magical ability, that never should have happened. Later, back at the JSA Brownstone, the JSA are having a meeting about what the hell they're going to do with Mordru, because that was a dick move. Hawkman is immortal, so he came back to life, but as he reveals that every time he dies, all his lives flash before his eyes, and it's a hellish experience, and now he has to go see Kendra because he misses her. But if they're voting, he's voting Mordru to go back to wherever he came from.
Not Kendra.
Oh, it was Shayera. Sorry, I thought he said Kendra.
Get your hawks right, bugger.
It's so bloody confusing.
Hawk Girl is the young one.
That doesn't help. They're
Not when
immortal.
Yeah, not when they're both usually called Hot Girl. Or Hot.
I don't know which is which.
All right, get to the good part. I mean, the really good part.
Really good. Okay, is it next or the end of the issue?
Towards the end of the
Just keep
issue.
going.
Towards the end of the issue. Okay, so in the hallway outside the meeting room, Huntress and Mordru are having a discussion about Mordru's actions and how he doesn't want to be a bad guy, but as Huntress kind of encourages him that whatever happens, she knows that he can make the best decisions possible. That futures can be changed, as her own life is proof of that. Just then, Stargirl opens the door and reveals that everyone voted. And as Mr. Terrific reveals that there are some ground rules to lay down, but he believes in second chances, and so does the JSA. So Mordru is officially inducted into the JSA. And as that happens, there's a bright flash of light and a flash.
Kaboom!
Likely the arrival of a time bubble.
Exactly, but not just any time bubble. It's a fucking big one, because like 30 people come out of it, and it's the Legion of Superheroes in the future.
But not just any Legion of Superheroes. The original Legion of Superheroes.
Yes.
OG team.
Yeah, led by Lightning Lad, Saturn Girl, and Cosmic Boy. Cosmic Boy steps up and says, look, you're about to make a grave mistake. You need to hand Mordru over to the Legion right away, because this is only going to cause trouble. And this is where the issue ends. Next issue, Justice Society of America versus Legion of Superheroes. Hell yeah. If only, as only, I mean to say, Jeff Johns can write. I would imagine.
We shall see.
Jeff Johns has an affinity for both teams, is what I mean. So, like,
Oh, yes.
he's successful with both.
Let me just say, he's a lot better at writing it than the last guy that did.
Yeah. Gold Lantern, my ass.
Shut up. Shh. We don't. That's all we need to mention about that.
Yep, it's in the past now.
Fuck.
A much better and happier place with this team.
Amen. Preach, man.
Hell yeah, is it ever. So, art, fantastic. That goes without saying. The art throughout the entire run, and even more so this issue, has been stellar. I mean, with the art team we have, that's not a surprise.
Whatever happened to Ryan Suck?
I don't know.
Anyway, sorry.
That's a good question. The page with the page where Searcher shows up is amazing, but even better is the page where Gentleman Ghost comes back to life, and there's just so much going on. It's really fucking cool. But the story it's slow, but is progressing and is getting very interesting. If I remember right, I think the last issue is confirmed to be 12, so there's not much more to go.
Oh, wow. Okay. Seems like there's a whole lot more story, though.
Yeah, like I feel like this is going to be
there
like
to
a season
spin
1,
out.
season 2 kind of deal. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's going to be something coming out of this, I'm sure. But we'll have to see. Come September. But for now, this honestly 9 out of 10. Fucking solid.
Where are you at with it, Brandon?
9 out of 10 for me. I was incredibly pleased with this issue, not entirely because the best version of the Legion of Superheroes showed up, and not just because they're the original, but because they're like Jeff Johns. I forget what like their title is. It's like the 5 years later version or something, but the version that he kind of reintroduced in Superman and the Legion of Superheroes, which I need to stop bringing up because I feel like I bring that up once every time I record.
You just
Getting
wanna
annoying.
read it.
I just want to reread it, even though I've read it like 5 times. But that's the Legion that I fell in love with, and I love seeing them back. But also, it's just as Rob mentioned, a really interesting and great story. And it does kind of feel like there's so much here that kind of won't be completely wrapped up by 12 issues. So it does feel like if there's not something in the horizon, then the story will get picked up somewhere else. But for now, I'm just enjoying this story as it is. So I'm interested to see how it kind of wraps up in 2 issues. But yeah, no, I'm just enjoying all the great moments so far. And of course, dig that the Legion are back.
Oh yeah.
It makes me long for another Legion book. So
Yeah.
bad.
Man, Brandon, I asked that question kind of facetiously, but now I'm very curious. Do you know what Sook is up to lately?
Well, because you said that, and I was just like, I don't know. I feel like I saw something, but I couldn't remember, so I looked it up. I was checking his Instagram while Rob was giving his review, and I couldn't really remember anything. He's done a couple of covers here and there, but nothing beyond that.
Wow. So, I mean, like, the last thing I saw him on was that Legion.
Yeah, probably would have been.
And he didn't even get to draw all of it.
Yeah, it was like 2019 or something. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no. No, the last thing we would have seen him on was Blue and Gold. But beyond
I'm completely.
that, yeah, I don't know. Oh no, that's right. I was like, what was the last thing he did? The most recent thing that I can find, and again, I could be wrong, was the Dark Crisis Worlds Without a Justice League Batman one shot.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So he's still around, just barely.
Yeah, just doing an issue here and there, basically.
All right. Well, as far as this one, as far as this issue goes, you gave it a 9 out of 10, both of you, huh?
Yep.
I'm not too far off. First, and I know we said it already, but that is one really super wicked cool cover. Honestly, reading this issue went by so fast, it's almost hard to say much. I mean, Mordru's in the JSA. The Loss is going to take on the Lash, and Hawkman's pissed. It's very quick, but it is very pivotal. It's taken a hard left turn into oh shitsville for the JSA. I'm really looking forward to what happens next, just because I really want to know. I mean, who brings in the Legion of Substitute Superheroes without it being an awesome story? So I'm really, really curious to see how these three teams are all going to fit together and how it's going to work out in only 2 issues. The Alert Colors team is a whole damn squad of masterclass teachers. You just can't go wrong there. I thought the book was fantastic too. I gave it an 8 out of 10.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
The hell's next? I forgot.
Birds
Oh my God.
of Prey.
That's what it is.
Where the birds go
Right.
to the savage land, kind of. Not really.
Yeah.
Where the birds aren't prey.
Yeah.
the birds.
Well, in this
are
issue,
being
they
prey.
kind of are, actually, but only for a little bit. I guess I'll kick it off.
Please do.
Birds of Prey number... I almost said 10. Birds of Prey number 11 is written by Kelly Thompson with art from Robbie Rodriguez, Javier Pina, and Gavin Guidry. So a real battalion of artists. Colors all from Jordi Belair. Letters from Clayton Cowles, and a gorgeous cover, as always, from Leonardo Romero and Jordi Belair. Birds are making their way through yet another portal in this strange pocket dimension, while Black Canary narrates about all the changes that they've been going through and find themselves flying through the air into some strange, weird, prehistoric-looking land. And Dinah, throughout the whole thing, is kind of recounting how they've just been running from place to place, but now they really just have to kind of stand and fight without running away at the first sign of danger, which of course means that as soon as Dinah sees danger, her impulse is to tell everyone to run, which I thought was funny considering Barda in the following scene is like, we're not going to run anymore, and Dinah very much is like, I know I just said we weren't going to run anymore, but oops.
But
This is too much, especially when you're facing down dinosaurs, which is what's charging after them right now. So they managed to escape narrowly, especially in Vixen's case, as she nearly gets her head chomped off by a dinosaur, but thanks to a timely save by Dinah, is able to escape in time. We get a lot of cool action sequences of the birds fighting off dinosaurs before they escape into a cave, and Barda seals them in with a giant stone. We cut over to Barbara, who still is missing and has not been able to join up with the birds yet. And she is able to use the tool to her advantage by cracking open some of the stones that are keeping her inside a cave of her own, but unfortunately sees that she's like on a giant mountain, or in a giant mountain, which really isn't helpful at all. So she's going to have to find her own way to get the hell out of there and find where the birds are. We cut back to Gotham, where Constantine is still trying to manipulate this portal, and Zealot is growing more and more impatient with his antics. Constantine, after asking Meridian a few questions just about where the portal came from and everything and the circumstances around it, leaves and is like, yeah, I'll go get some more help. And Zealot insults him because he's not doing shit and he's not helping at all. And she's getting angry and impatient. And honestly, I can't blame her. Constantine really doesn't seem to be helping at all. But we cut back to the pocket dimension where the birds are just having a nice little moment where they can rest for a little bit. Vixen in particular is feeling frustrated because her connection to the red, that is, still isn't working, and it's a severe handicap for her. And Dinah is kind of trying to comfort her through it, but I think Vixen really feels like she has to take on this obstacle herself rather than just, talk it out. So she goes over and checks in with Sin, who is likely, responsible, or I think she suspects is responsible for the portal and this new world being all about dinosaurs. And that's when Sin opens up and reveals that she was afraid that when they went through the portal would read her mind as Megara's mind as opposed to both of their minds. So she just tried to think of something that was uniquely hers, and of course she thought about dinosaurs, because why not? You know, she was reading a book about dinosaurs. She thought about dinosaurs. It makes sense. But Dinah is not upset, even though it is Sin's fault, kind of, that they're in this this strange reality, as she now realizes that the way that Sin was able to manipulate this world has given her a clue as to basically how this world works, and now we'll be able to use that as an advantage against fighting Maya. So some time passes after this discussion, and Mari seems to be getting back in tune with the red, but also notices that the portal has opened back up, and calls down for the rest of the birds that the portal is back open. They'll have to come up and meet her there. But of course, before they can even make a move towards getting to the portal, Maya shows up and is ready to attack. Dinah tries to hold her off for a little bit, but Maya is gearing up for another big attack. But who should show up at that moment but Vixen, her red powers now restored, and demanding that Maya take them to Barbara Gordon or die. So yeah, pretty good issue. Definitely enjoyed this one a little bit more than last month's issue, which, as I said, kind of felt a little exposition heavy. But this one was really, really aggressive with the action and momentum, and it just felt like, you know, it was a kind of fast-paced and fun issue, while also giving us some downtime with the birds, which I really appreciated. And as always, art is great. Really seamless between the three artists, at least I thought. So great stuff all around. 8.25 out of 10 for me.
Very solid issue, if I do say so myself. Very enjoyable. I'm looking forward to seeing where this goes. At least how the team grows as well, because it does seem like this story is kind of cut and dry at this point. You can kind of get the vibe of how it's going to end up. It's very much about the team and about the relationships in between, as opposed to more about the actual plot, because it's a very simple plot at the end of the day. But we're getting a lot more of the relationships, which I very much appreciate. So with that in mind, like, I can't wait for them to get back to Barbara and see what else may happen to the team. But this issue and the story is still really good with really good art. So I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10.
No, that is quite fair enough. This book, man, I feel like the story continues. We get to learn a little bit more with every issue. Like Rob said, overall, the plot of the arc is pretty simple, but it doesn't give us a lot of information first, and it just kind of slowly peels back layers. Now we know that Sin can control where they go, or at least influence it. They may be able to mess with the portal soon, and Vixen seems to have at least something close to all of her powers back. The story's just so dang good. I really like it. It's slow, but it's not too slow. Kelly Thompson's dialogue is so good for each character, and this freaking art, man. Rodriguez, Pina, Guidry, and Belair, they make this really updated classic comic book look, and it just fucking rocks. It's been with the book since the beginning, and it just has not done anything but be great. I'm not saying that I want a bunch of other books to look like this, but like, all right, like, I love the art. I absolutely love the art in the JSA, but if it looked like this, I wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't be mad at all. For the right kind of book, this would work in a lot of places. But for this title especially, I really love it. A lot happens, though it doesn't seem like much. With only 2 more parts to go, this book has to get an 8.25 out of 10 for me. Has to. Don't have a choice.
Now, something I found interesting on the cover as well is Sin in the background. Looks like she's using plant life, doesn't it? Looks like she's using vines as a power set.
In a way, but I mean, also that could just be Magira form because they were very tendrily when we first saw them as well.
Yeah, well, you know who else uses plants as a power set?
Ah, yes.
Whoa.
Which
Okay.
is where I was going with
I
this.
completely missed that one there, buddy. My bad.
That's okay.
That one's
wasn't
all
very
on
apparent.
me. Your transition was simply glorious. And Poison Ivy number 24 was written by Glorious Willow Wilson, art from Haning, colors Reef Prianto, and letters from Hassan Atsmani El Hal, with a cover again by Jessica Fong. And I'm going to take a second, and I'm even going to show it to you. What do you think about that?
Pretty cool.
Pretty cool. And that is the cover. God, Jessica Fong, man. I want to commission her to draw damn near anything. But anyway, we start the book out with Grundy, Croc, Harley, Janet from HR, and Mr. Periwinkle. No, that's not his name, but I mean a 5-petaled blue flower. It's right there. They are all saddened by the death of Ivy. Then Grundy, of all people, has an idea. He says, died on a Saturday, buried on a Sunday, born on a Monday. And they're all like, no way. So Harley lets Grundy take Pam away. He lowers her into the swamp water of Slaughter Swamp, and as she sinks, she starts to hear voices calling to her, and it brings her back, or at least that's what it looked like. Instead, she's in conversation with the Tree of Life. She's told that she has blurred the lines between the green and the gray, to which Ivy responds that there is no line. The green is the source of everything, so there's no blurring. Death is just a part of life. What starts life has to have what ends it. The Tree of Life says they want that to be kept secret in order to keep chaos reined in among the living, because the living need order and rules to live by and categories to fit in. Damn if that's not true. The Tree of Life says don't mix with the mushrooms again. Solomon has emerged from the swamp alone, but not for long. Ivy vines, start coming out of the water, and so does Ivy. Although she's bug-ass naked now for some reason, no one seems to give a shit except they can't stop staring at her. Harley and Ivy notice, so she grows some clothes back on. Man, that sure would save a lot of money for school. I wish my kids could grow clothes.
Nice.
Anyway, after Ivy reassures everyone that the infected, the Lamia, and Woodrue are all gone, Janet completely loses her shit and very loudly confesses that Pam and her hooked up when they were all tripping on mushrooms, and Harley and her kissed when Janet was rescued by Batman. Everybody looks shocked until the next page where Ivy and Harley bust out laughing and tell her it's okay. We're finally left with Ivy reckoning what she will do from now on, which is basically eco-terrorist in as non-violent a way as possible. Doesn't mean non-violent, though. And as she thinks about this, she stumbles upon a town nestled in the marshlands, one that has never been there before. 24 issues. 24 issues of one storyline.
Yeah.
I enjoyed every single one, save for those weird ass sleep nightmare shit mini event things from Williamson. So 22 issues of absolute excellence and 2 issues of total filler. It's on to the next chapter of what Poison Ivy's life is going to be like, and I, for one, cannot wait to see what comes next. This has been such an incredible ride with Ivy, and it's 100% overall the best book that DC, over the course of the last 2 years, has put out, period. No other title can say that they've put out near perfect issues consistently for 24 months. Not a single one. The art is freaking awesome. Find an issue you can't say that about, and this issue in particular is absolute awesomeness. What a way to wrap this one up. I loved it. 9.25 out of 10. How about
I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. Very solid issue, very interesting wrap up, and teasings of much more to come. This book is not slowing down in the slightest. The quote unquote first story arc might be finally done, but it looks like G. Willow Wilson has a lot more to come. And it is exciting. I can't wait to see where the story goes from here. Almost as far as endings go, I will say kind of anticlimactic. If you look back on a second go around, just think about everything that happened in this issue, it feels more like an epilogue as opposed to like a final chapter, because all the action's done and the entire issue is just bringing Ivy back to life. That's all it is. So realistically, there's not much substance in this issue, but as like a cutting point for the story, very well done. And the whole explanation of her rebirth and mysteries therein, very good stuff. The mystical voice of the green or the gray or whichever it was saying that, look, you've been here before, we've met, this is getting old, just like be smarter about this, come on. I thought that was great.
It really was.
Yeah. So yeah, 9 out of 10. Sorry, 9 out of 10 for sure. That's about all I got.
Nice. Yeah, 8 out of 10 for me. Nothing really new to add. Just consistent and continues to be a really solid and good book.
Fucking love it.
Hell yeah.
24 issues without a fucking flub. That is mind-blowing to me.
You know, there's a reason we call her Glorious Willow Wilson.
I'm fucking saying, man.
It's a very good reason.
All right. Well, I mean, I've given her a lot of compliments. We always do, but I don't want that kind of power to go to her head.
Well, good news. If you act now, there's a way to take away that power.
Oh, no.
If you want to find out how, read the next book. It's called Absolute Power. Kind of ironic, no? This is finally here. It's written by Mark Waid with art from Dan Mora, so you know it's going to look amazing. Colors from Alejandro Sanchez, so you know it's going to feel amazing. And letters from Ariana Maher, so you know it's going to read amazing. It's written by Mark Waid, which means it has the potential to be amazing. But is it? Is it?
There's only one way to find out. Will absolute power be an absolute disaster?
Tune in next time to find out. No, okay, so we pick up in Metropolis. I'm tempted to even skip this part because this is the preview that we've been seeing in the past month in almost every single book. Superman goes to stop bank robbery, but he gets shot by one of the goons that gets a little too haywire, and the bullets actually go through him, and he falls out of the sky bleeding. But we then jump to Keystone City 28 hours earlier. Animal Man and Animal Girl, Buddy Baker and his daughter, are off on a little flight after saving some people. I think this is the first time we've seen them together in costume, isn't it? I don't remember if it happened in Lemire's run.
I don't think it.
No, they had a couple of moments in the Dark Crisis times for Jeremy Adams' Flash.
With both of them in costume, though?
Both of them?
Yes, with both of them in costume.
Oh, shit, I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Well, it's still pretty cool to see. Still really cool to see. Mm-hmm. They land in a nearby park, and the people there begin to freak the fuck out and start to beat the shit out of Buddy Baker before he can apparently hurt him. They have no idea what's going on. Maxine is doing whatever she can to get the mob to stop beating the shit out of her father. Very scary sight. I can't even imagine what would be going through their minds apart from a stick. I thought you'd like that.
Beautiful.
Batman and Robin are watching the whole thing from Gotham City as they see various other videos appearing all over the news of various heroes committing heinous acts, murdering citizens, causing mass panic and destruction, and all of it as all the heroes that are chiming in through comms are saying none of this is actually happening. It's all fake. Supergirl's not even on planets. I was with that guy this time, and he wasn't there. Like they're suing on the video. Like this is all doctored. This is AI to the nth degree. Clark is in Metropolis at the time, in the Daily Planet with Lois Lane. Clark assures her that this is not actually happening. None of this is real, and she doubles down that since none of this is none of this is proven, none of this is facts. Yes, we are not running it. Despite the fact that, as Jimmy Olsen reveals, that somebody in our network, outside the network, an outside agent has taken control of the servers and is now running the same bullshit. So now even the Daily Planet is being taken over and is running the same nonsense. But as you can tell, as we see through various text boxes, from Amanda Waller to the president, that this is all her doing. We now go to the Hall of Order, where she is briefing with Sarge Steele, who definitely has some issues with the way this is going about. But she does reveal the entire plan, that she has doctored this with the help of Failsafe and the Brainiac Queen to create mass panic and fear towards heroes, which will turn the public against them 100%. And it has worked wholeheartedly. Add on to the fact that now she's releasing her Amazos, which are now stealing the powers from all the various heroes. And this is where we end up at where we were at the beginning of the issue, where all the heroes are slowly getting their powers taken away. We then see Connor and John flying through the sky as they hear gunshots, and then John looks over and sees his father falling out of the sky. They go to catch him, but they are also caught by the Super Amazo, as various other heroes are being caught by other Amazos at the same time, and their powers are getting sucked away. One by one, slowly but surely, even magic users will no longer remember how to conjure magic, and the heroes systematically, almost instantly, are decimated. Batman and Robin are heading out to do whatever they can to help. Batman on comms, but then he hears a familiar voice of Green Arrow saying that there's nothing they can do, that they're on the wrong side of history. He's working with Waller. She has connection to these comms, and he knows that their time is up, that all of them should have been listening to him the entire time, and that they are coming for the heroes.
They're coming to take me away.
Yep. There's nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Waller has all your secrets. It's game over. And your powers are never coming back. John is left being taken away by the Amazo android as he's left watching his father bleed out on the streets. It was a horrifying sight. Then in a brief little 2-page epilogue, we see some kind of robotic person come to life. A very robotic guy comes into frame, and then it zooms out on the last page, and it is John Kent as a robot. Whoa. Android 23. John Kent by the Red Ribbon Army.
Oh God! Do we have to turn everything into Dragon Ball?
Yes.
Okay, just checking.
As long as Dr. Fate's helmet counts as a hat, yes.
Oh, damn, you got me.
I got you. Okay, so it's not bad. It's not bad. Absolute Power is not bad so far. I'm still not thrilled about it. I think it's a little over the top. I do not feel that, the entire public will just turn against heroes right away to the point that they're willing to beat the shit out of people. I feel like instead of doing mob rule on Buddy Baker, they would have just turned and run away as fast as they can, fleeing in mass panic, instead of getting the torches and pitchforks and bashing his head in. That seemed a little much. But so far it's not bad. I still hate Amanda Waller. I think she's a boring ass character right now. She's become very one dimensional because she's being overused and just over and over and over again. The heroes suck because they have too much power and I must control it all. And then you have all the power, and now you're the enemy. And like,
She always has
you are becoming the thing you've sworn to fight against. Like, what are you doing? No one person should have too much power. That's your whole credence. So when you take that power away and bring it to you, who has all the power? You. You are one person.
So after all this is said and done, Failsafe has a crisis of conscience, kills Amanda Waller, and then himself.
Well, I don't know if that's possible because the Failsafe program prevents him from killing somebody.
He's been reprogrammed, though, hasn't he?
I don't know if
Isn't
he
he
was
being-
reprogrammed as opposed to just rewired to come back to life.
Okay, I think that they're all, for lack of a better term, Bluetooth connected to the Brainiac Queen.
Could be. I would imagine Failsafe is still running on his own system because a lot of the doctoring, like the doctoring was done by Brainiac Queen, but Failsafe was able to help bring the network to life.
That's true. And
Yeah.
he's also the one that these aren't all copies of Bruce. Or excuse me, these aren't all just blank slate robots. They're all copies of Bruce from different Zuranars from different worlds. Like as Batman noticed when he goes, is this one speaking Victorian?
Yep. So that would be
Gotham by Gaslight. Yep.
I didn't even clue in on that because I forgot about the Zuranars. When he said, is this one speaking Victorian? I was like, oh, so they're taking on the personality of Diana. That's interesting. But that makes more sense. Shit. Okay, so, yeah, the key player here, I would imagine, would have to be Batman. Seeing as he's the one hero that doesn't have a superpower.
Agreed.
Yeah. All in all, though, there's not much to say yet because it's the first issue. It's really just the opening salvo. It's giving us all the information that we already knew was going to happen based off previews and whatnot. So, for now, with what we have in front of us, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 7. It's not all that bad.
Mm.
I would score higher if it wasn't Amanda Waller. I don't even know about that. Like, it was enjoyable. I'll give it that. As a comic book, as an adventure, as a story, it's not bad. But because of the first issue, I can't really comment if the whole thing is going to be good or not. Right? Like, for my explanation, I'll bring up 3 Jokers. First issue was amazing. We didn't know 2 issues later we were going to hate it.
Yeah.
You know?
It was my very first act of violence against a comic book.
I don't blame you. I really don't blame you.
I have never thrown I've like smacked one down before, but I ain't ever whipped it across the room, and I did it. So.
Yeah.
Oh, I was so mad. Ugh.
I finished it and I'm like, what the fuck did I just read?
Yeah.
I think my turn for that came when Jason wanted to hook up with Barbara. And I'm like, well, this is fucked for me now.
Well, issue 2, I think I was still trying to cope. I was just like, well, I mean, it's not bad. Maybe the last issue will make it better.
Second issue, I was like, well, this is all right.
Yeah. After that first issue, I was like, well, it's a hard act to follow, and then it just completely fell apart in that last issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was barely put together to begin with, if we're being honest. But
Yeah.
what did you think about Absolute Power, Brandon?
I felt kind of the same way as Rob. It's definitely an opening salvo issue. That's a great way to put it. Stellar art, which is to be expected from Dan Mora. And even though I'm kind of over events at this point, I have to admit it is really nice to see Dan Mora taking on this big project because it feels like something he's so suited for. Um,
You can
but
say that again.
yeah, but aside from that, no. I mean, it's solid first issue, a decent premise, but nothing that I'm completely hooked on yet. Nothing that I'm over the moon about. So I feel like either it needs to have a really incredible second issue or second act, or it'll just be kind of a solid event, but nothing to write home about. So 8 out of 10. Mostly carried by the art, but
Yeah.
not a terrible story. Just hasn't quite sold me yet.
Fucking art is amazing, isn't it, man? Jesus. I mean, I know it's Dan Mora, but I mean, this is pinnacle Dan Mora. And am I the only one that saw the Amazobots and thought, I bet you when he was drawing all of these, he was like, I could make these all into composite heroes. That that's why I saw the inspiration drawn from his latest composite, and man, it's really making me want to see that come back somehow. As far as this issue goes, though, I mean, you guys knew I was going to go into this with a whole lot of questions. It's issue number 1, and the whole world's fucked up. Animal Man might die, and he might die without any orange on. And even if he doesn't,
That's kinda
what
nuts.
is it? What is it with him only getting to show up on one page of
Events.
books?
I know. What the fuck?
It's like he gets one panel, one page tops. That's all you get. Sorry,
Yeah.
buddy.
Yeah.
Doom Patrol's headquarters have been burned to the ground. Who knows what or who was lost there? Black Lightning,
Yeah.
Lightning, which is a really stupid name. Black Lightning, Lightning, and Thunder are all in the hospital. Night Squire and the Global Guardians, they're out of commission. And if nobody knows who the Global Guardians are, they were the attempt to bring ethnic diversity to the Super Friends comic book. Looks like the Atom and maybe Our Man have met their demise in Green Arrow's hand. That's a lot of shit. The supers have all lost their powers. Clark gets shot in the chest and then crashes to the ground like 100 feet below.
Yeah.
John gets heat visioned right into his chest, but lives to be dragged away yelling to Clark. And it ends with John strapped to a table with amnesia connected to a bunch of tubes like the Matrix and a perfect circle hole in the middle of his chest. I mean, stealing powers, okay, that was something we knew what was going to happen. It's Amazobots, we knew that, and it's definitely not the first time. So, cool, let's roll with that. But how in the hell does that make magic users forget how to use magic? How does it seal the multiverse or the time stream? How does it close off the microverse? And then the book ultimately ends with a random panel of Aquaman looking angry.
I mean, I wouldn't even call that random. That's just Aquaman on a good day.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, hey, we haven't mentioned him here yet, so let's just throw that in real quick.
Yeah.
My question is, and I mean, all of this stuff, but I mean, his powers come from just being Atlantean, so he shouldn't be affected at all either, but he will be.
I mean, his command of fish, I think, is
his telepathic ability to talk to fish. Okay.
Yeah.
I could see that, I guess. Yeah. That was a product of species mingling.
Interspecies nonsense. Or maybe he's a metahuman.
Possible. But regardless, shit has hit the fan, and it is certainly the prettiest looking shit hitting a fan that I have ever seen. Mora and Sanchez make themselves art gods in this issue, but as far as what is happening in the book, it's crammed in. It's too much for the number of pages. And so far, I'm not hooked on the story. Right now, it does have me very curious. It was an explosive opening issue. It does not mean that every issue after this will be the same. That gives me hope for it. Right now, I'm not super impressed with the kickoff to a huge summer event that's taken over a lot of books in DC. The score was a hard one for me to figure out. The art is gorgeous, and I don't hate the story. I got a lot of hope that it's going to get better. We'll have to see where this one goes. So I'll give it a 7 out of 10.
Fair enough. And again, it's not really taking over any books, as we'll see in our next issue. Like the Flash, it had it woven into the ongoing story, and with Batman, well, it's a special issue. The backup is more of the tie-in, but you'll see what I mean. Any other book that has the tie-in is really just going to be woven into the ongoing story. It's not like last year's summer event.
Oh my god. I hope you're right. I hope you're right.
Yeah. It's going to be like it used to be with tie-ins, where it was simple. All right, well, with that, I kind of buried the lead. Batman is the hero of the issue, so we may as well talk about what he's doing.
Sure, which is
Let's give it.
nothing related to absolute power, at least until the end.
Yeah.
Batman 150 milestone issue, and
Hell yeah.
certainly feels like one, at least in terms of the art team. I don't know about the story, but this issue, at least the first part, was brought to us as usual with writing by Chip Zdarsky, but art this time from Jorge Jimenez and the legend himself, Dennis Cowan. Inks from John Stanishi, colors from Tomo Murray, and letters from Clayton Cowles. And this issue, if you were expecting some kind of wrap up to,
Anything.
what was the? I forgot the name of the last arc. It just finished, and I already forgot it.
I don't remember.
But yeah, if you were expecting any wrap up to, what was it, Prison Break or something? What was it called?
My Dark Prison.
Dark Prisons, that was it. Yeah, if you were expecting any kind of wrap up to that, even though we did kind of have the epilogue last month, it is not to be found in this issue. It is, as it is, at least from my understanding, pretty much entirely standalone. This issue follows a man by the name of Teddy, who basically is wrestling with the fact that he knows, or at least he heavily suspects, due to some information he uncovered while working for Catwoman and learning about burglary and all that stuff, that Batman is really Bruce Wayne, although they don't explicitly reveal that until the end of this issue. But basically the whole issue kind of revolves around Teddy kind of wrestling with this information while also dealing with some personal stuff as he's trying to get out of the criminal life, but is finding increasing difficulty with that, as at first he's trying to sell off the information about Batman to other people. He starts with Two-Face, who pretty much just rejects that altogether, as he believes Teddy is too simple to understand what Batman really is. And then tries to shop it around at the Iceberg Lounge with Cobblepot's kids, but is also quickly informed that that whole thing has been a ruse, as at first he thinks he's getting an easy payout, but then is revealed that the whole thing was a trap, and that he is being ambushed there.
It's a trap.
Yeah, it literally was a trap. And then he is basically whisked off by a bunch of former henchmen who now have kind of struck out on their own, and are going to use that information, or rather use Teddy, who knows that information, as their leverage as they stage a bank heist. But that unfortunately goes disastrously wrong as Batman shows up and ambushes the whole thing. And Teddy, while the whole thing is going off the rails, manages to hide, at least for a little bit, before being intercepted by Batman and then dropped off at his son's college apartment, where they have a rather touching heart to heart, although definitely emotionally charged heart to heart, just about how his son kind of idolized him and really wanted to be like him, and actually for a little while, for a short period of time, was a henchman himself, but quickly realized after a disastrous first night out working with Scarecrow that not only was this life for him, but that he was willing in that moment to risk everything for something that didn't matter at all. But Batman, thankfully, saved him in that moment and really was able to inspire him and help him out to do better things. But really was able to boil down his wishes for Teddy's son into a simple phrase: be better. And Teddy really takes that message to heart as he prepares to leave Gotham, and he knows he kind of has to, and runs into Bruce Wayne along the way, who basically tells him, yeah, you got to leave. But it doesn't have to be the worst thing in the world. You can start over. I've got a new life set up for you in Metropolis. And from there, hopefully you can build your life into something better. And when the time is right, maybe you can return to Gotham, and hopefully start your life over again. But just remember that if you are ever able to come back to Gotham, Batman will be there. So it ends on a hopeful note, at least with Teddy being inspired to be better and to hopefully make better life choices. The backup, also written by Chip Zdarsky, with art from Mike Hawthorne and colors also from Tomu Murray, and I believe also letters from Clayton Cowles. I couldn't find the credits list. I don't know if it was listed at the front. But the backup is fairly short and just kind of focuses on Bruce trying to rescue Cyborg so they can get the upper hand against the Amazo Cyborgs. But the Wonder Woman Cyborg shows up, and that's when, as Rob mentioned in the previous issue, Batman notes that this one is speaking in a Victorian accent, or speaking Victorian or something like that. But unfortunately, Batman is not able to rescue and take Victor away, and the Amazo Cyborg, or the Amazo, manages to get away with Victor before Batman is able to stop them. So in order to get this plan to work, and trying to stage a heist for the mother box that they apparently have in their possession, Batman is going to recruit a thief, and we see a panel of a cat. So I can only imagine who the thief is going to be. But yeah, pretty solid issue. How did you guys feel?
I liked it.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's pretty in-depth opinion.
it's picking up a plot from an event, crossover event that wasn't that great, but they made a point to point it out. I think in Catwoman, I was wondering if this was ever going to get picked up again, and here it is.
yeah,
I'm not so upset about that. I don't like when plot threads are left dangling.
At all.
Even if the story isn't great, at least you tied up that plot thread. I'm happy. But as far as the story itself, I don't think it was that bad. It wasn't anything to write home about. It wasn't anything amazing, but it was a story and it was enjoyable. So I'll give it that. For 150, every so often you get in these, anniversary issues, if you will.
Yeah.
Just a look at who Batman is, usually from an outside perspective. Every reader has one. This was Chip Zdarsky's turn. I don't think it was any different from any others that we ever get, but it was really cool to see Chip Zdarsky's take on it. So I enjoyed it. As for the backup, which is the official tie-in for Absolute Power, picking up where Absolute Power left off quite well, and is going to dive deep into Batman's personal life. So I'm all for that. I'll give the whole issue an 8.75 out of 10.
nice.
All right. In the first part, I don't know if it's Tanishi's inks or what it is, but Cohen's work feels a little different. I feel like it's usually far better than this, and the lines, and it was just way super excessive for me. Jimenez's shit, it was gorgeous. He just didn't do a whole lot in that first part. It's a kick-ass cover. It's just not my favorite arc of the week. The story in the first part was okay, I guess. Like Rob said, everybody that writes Batman, almost everybody that writes Batman, does an issue like this. It's just, I have seen this issue like 1,000 times now.
Yeah.
Don't forget, he's Bat God, but he's also Bat Human. Yeah, we know. It was a neat little story about a deadbeat dad being set up by Batman to do better. That's pretty much it. It's pretty much 100% filler. I hope that over the summer it's not the same. It ends with the dude going to Metropolis, the dad. So maybe that might tie into Absolute Power somehow. We don't know. This didn't, not really at all. The backup did, like Brandon and Rob mentioned, tie into Absolute Power. I like the art. I like the dialogue. Clark seems to be safe and on the mend in his I Get Better black suit, but I can't seem to figure out how that's possible with 2 gunshots to the chest and a 10-story fall or more straight to the ground. But
he didn't fall all the way to the ground. He was caught by John,
who also fell straight to the ground.
Yeah, but like Clark landed on John. His fall was broken by another body.
All right, just go science that for me. Drop
If
something
movies
off a
have taught
10-story
me
building.
anything, is that if you land on another person, you're fine. Austin Powers did it.
Well, yeah, now there's the metric everything should be set by.
I think so.
Get in my belly. So yeah, hey, whatever. It's comics. We'll see what happens, even though that feels like it's something that's glossed over quite a bit.
Yeah.
So anyway, we ended all up. Batman needs some stealing, and he's going to turn to the cat to do it, which makes me wonder if her help here is going to somehow be tied to the events that happened in her own series. I'm going to say this short backup did more to get me into Absolute Power than Absolute Power did, and it shouldn't be that way, but here we are.
Yeah.
The good filler with okay-ish art, the backup with actual story and good art. Again, this one was hard to score. Usually it's the other way around, backup and story, but I guess this issue is going to be the lowest scoring issue I've given to Zdarsky. I think Batman 150 should have been a banger, but instead it was a 6.75 out of 10.
Yeah, fair enough.
For now. I hope next issue is better.
Yeah. I'm curious to see what the next issue is going to be. If it is going to be 100% an Absolute Power story, or if it is going to be a new story and then an Absolute Power backup.
Right?
Yeah.
Which that would be.
And it might have just been this was a special case because it's number 150. Excuse me. And then because the last issue ended an arc, and now this will be a new story, Batman will be 100% a Absolute Power tie-in because there is no ongoing story currently.
I hate it when comic books don't have everybody doing the same thing at the same time. But we'll see how it all plays out because I've got no idea what's going to happen from here.
Yeah. We shall see. What am I looking at? All right, so with that, that's our books. So now we will bust into our top 3 and favorite moment. If you had one, which one of y'all want to go first?
I'll knock that out. I don't have a problem doing that. My top 3. Third place goes to Birds of Prey. Second place goes to Shazam. And first place goes to Poison Ivy. And my favorite moment was when I got a brief little giggle where in Poison Ivy, where Croc is complaining that he always finds himself in the wrong places. And Grundy looks at Croc and says, "Married on a Wednesday?" Croc says, "Not in this lifetime." That was my favorite moment and my top 3. What about you guys?
Brandon?
Geez, I kind of forgot to do that, so I'm gonna have to do it on the spot.
I can go first if you want to figure it out.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
All right, so for me, I'm honestly still debating on what my number 3 is going to be, but for now, I think I'm going to give it to Shazam, which honestly is kind of tied in terms of interest with Birds of Prey and Batman 150. But Shazam is going to be number 3 with Poison Ivy at number 2, and then Justice Society of America number 10, and number 1 with my favorite moment coming out of JSA, where we see Jim Craddock returning to a corporeal life, and that panel was just beautiful.
It was. That was really good. Good panel.
Another Brandon, you're up now. Sorry.
Okay. I would probably put Poison Ivy at 3, Batman 150 at 2, and Justice Society of America at number 10. Favorite moment, it's going to be obvious, but the reveal of the Legion of Superheroes, the double-page spread towards the end of JSA number 10 was just, oh my god, like,
Yeah.
just so exciting to see.
I don't think neither one of us are surprised that's your favorite moment.
That is 100% understandable. All right, so with that, I think that's about all we have. So, Josh, you want to take us out?
I definitely will, as long as you don't mind me using a Groupon. Thank you, everybody, for watching. We will be back next week covering all of DC's weekly releases. Same geek time, same geek channel, and that is our show. We're getting out of here, so you probably should as well. Be careful out there. And remember, in the Geek Matrix, everybody has a home. In the Geek Matrix, you are not alone.